Hello and welcome to the official YouTube channel and Facebook page of Digital Ideas. This is a massive, massive show for all of you. All you love Premier League. This is the show you all were waiting for. As we promised, we are now joined by none other than Mark Jackson, one of the Leeds United legends. And first of all, we'd like to introduce you with Mark Jackson. He's now the head coach of under 18 Leeds United side and also the youth development head of Leeds United. So we're definitely talking to him about that. We are joined by Ronak Majumdar as well. Ronak Majumdar is a budding young journalist of Digital Ideas. But first of all, Mark Jackson, what a magnificent season you had, and congratulations for getting back into the Premier League.
Yeah, thank you. First and foremost, thanks for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be on and to be able to talk football. But yes, it's been a fantastic season for the first team and the club as a whole. To finally get back to the Premier League after what seems like an eternity in 16 years from being there is a fantastic achievement, and we're all so proud of the team and the club, and hopefully we'll be able to stay there and kick on and enjoy it.
Yes, absolutely, Mark. The first question which I'll have, but before that, I'd be requesting all the fans who are watching this particular show, you can ask your questions on YouTube because we'll be giving preference in taking questions from the YouTube. Question will be to Mark. Mark, it's a very, very good season for you, all of you. In fact, you have played some splendid attacking football, and I mean, scoring as many as 77 goals in the entire EFL Championship. That speaks volume about the quality of football you have played. So, if I ask you to go and remember the season or recapitulate the season in your words of Leeds United this time around, so what would be you saying? In fact,
I mean, first and foremost, yeah, the season what's just gone and what we've achieved this season kind of doesn't surpass any other season really. And I think you touched on it there with the amount of goals that the first team have scored, but also I think it's the manner in the goals that they've scored as well, and the performances. I think since the manager has come in, Marcelo Bielsa, I think it's turned the club around as regards to the identity and the way they play as well. I think that everybody who I hear on TV say that they love watching Leeds United play and their style of play. So first and foremost, that style of play, what the manager's brought to the club and the players have achieved as well, is fantastic. And it's a modern day football what everybody wants to watch.
absolutely. The second question which I have in my mind, we all know the contribution of Jack Charlton, and we all know about Big Jack. I mean, three weeks back when he expired at the age of 85. Hundreds of Leeds United fans, they were there at the Leeds United Stadium and then mourned the death of Big Jack. So you have been a Leeds United cadet. You performed for Leeds United over the years, and we can easily say that you are a big fan of Leeds United as well. So what do you want to say about the fans, about Big Jack and his contribution, and more importantly, how happy he is back in the haven after knowing that his favorite team is back in the Premier League?
Well, first and foremost, we've had a fantastic achievement, but there's been some sad times over recent months with the passing of some Leeds United legends, like Jack Charlton and Norman Hunter. So that's been a sad part of it for the club and the Leeds United family, and that's all the fans and everything. But certain players like that, Jack Charlton, Norman Hunter, I grew up watching videos of them play when I was younger, because I was a big Leeds fan, and I watched them play in the 60s and 70s, and to lose such a figure who's represented Leeds United, and let's remember these players were just players for Leeds United, represented England as well, so they were legends at the club. So to lose them in what's been a fantastic season, it's really, really hard to take, and it's been hard for the Leeds United family and for their families as well. So I think the club celebrated their lives, and their contribution to the football club in a fitting manner. And hopefully, once we get back to some normality, I think those kind of remembrances will be cemented as well.
Mark, as you know, I'm a Manchester United fan, a bit rival for you, but at the same time, so back in the Premier League, so you'd have two rivals to face this time around, and both the teams are making very, very solid squads, Manchester United and Chelsea. So, what do you want to say about it?
Well, first and foremost, the fact that we get to compete with our arch rival is in Manchester United. I mean, I remember as a young boy coming through, watching Leeds United, and also being a young player at the club as well. I can always remember how the atmosphere was when Man United come to town and come to Ellen Road. It was fantastic. It wasn't so good for the Man United players, I don't think, because it was very, very hostile and quite terrifying. But what an occasion, and the fact that we're going to now compete against Manchester United and teams like Chelsea and Liverpool and Manchester City as well, then it's really whet my appetite to get back to Ellen Road and watch the team and watch them perform in those games. And I'm sure, the teams like Manchester United, Chelsea, and the big teams like that, I'm sure they're deep down and their supporters are happy for Leeds United to be back, because it is very, very good rivalry, and that will hopefully continue and make for a great atmosphere in the games.
Surely, Mark, I'd be requesting Ronak to ask a question, then I'd be coming back to you.
Okay.
First of all, Mark, thank you so much for giving us your valuable time. Welcome to the Digital Ideas Football Show. Starting the day off, Mark, you have grown up in the city of Leeds. You have had your first professional football contract with Leeds. And as a professional coach, you started your career with Leeds United Football Club. So you have a vast experience of being in the city, being a homegrown lad. So what, according to you, does the beautiful game of football mean to the people of Leeds?
It's unlike any other. I've played for different teams throughout my career. Started at Leeds, and now I'm back at Leeds coaching, and I played for many teams and experienced many things. And I think it's kind of the fans live and breathe Leeds United. You've seen that even more so, even during the last 16 years when they've been out of the Premier League. It's the support is fanatical, and they live and breathe the club, and they're there through thick and thin, and it's probably reward for them by sticking by the team that they get to enjoy the success that they've had this season, and you've probably seen by the footage on videos of the celebrations around Ellen Road when they got the trophy and when it was announced, and in Leeds City Centre as well. That the fans deserve that. They deserve it because they've had to wait a long time. And let's remember, some fans, some younger fans, have never seen Leeds United in the Premier League, so it's a first for them. So to actually be part of the club when they're getting back to Leeds United and be a Leeds United fan. I mean, I only grew up literally a 5-minute, 10-minute walk from Ellen Road when I was small. So I'm a fan first and foremost, but I'm very, very privileged to be able to work for the club as well. But the fans in the city of Leeds live and breathe the football club, and the support at home and away, and you see that all the time. So they deserve that as well as the players who've achieved it.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Mark. I have a question. I mean, if I go back and check the goal which Leeds United scored against Charlton Athletic just a week back, the second goal I'm talking about, which Della scored, that speaks volume about the system of the team. Marcelo Bielsa, as we all know, he is brilliant in terms of tactical brilliance and the system of the game. He is a genius itself. So you're working with Marcelo as well. Why he is different from the other managers?
Well, I think I'm in a privileged position, along with all the other coaches within the academy, to be able to, not so much work with the manager, but see him work at close close quarters and be able to watch him work and watch him train, see how he works with his players. I mean, he came to the club with a astonishing reputation. Pep Guardiola and Pochettino talk about him as a mentor for them as coaches, and they're legends in their own right as coaches and managers as well. So, for him to be coming to Leeds United and for us as coaches within the academy to be able to see him work is fantastic. And he's brought his ideas to Leeds United in a short space of time. Let's only remember he's been here 2 seasons, and in the second season he's got us back to the Premier League. So he deserves a hell of a lot of credit, and his staff as well, because he's transformed the team and the players into Premier League players. So there's no other words you can say about it, that he's worked miracles in a short space of time. And for me to be able to see that, it is fantastic, and let's hope it continues.
Leeds United has always developed some outstanding players, as we know. It's Alan Smith, Mark Viduka, Danny Mills, Rio Ferdinand, some outstanding stellar performers over the years, and they really developed the football in their respective countries as well. How have been the Leeds United youth development program these days? Who are the new players to watch out for in the next season who have grown up from the youth development ranks of Leeds United?
Well, I'm one at the start, and I never within my under-18 team. I never like singling players out. I don't like doing that too early. But as regards to kind of recent players who have progressed into the first team, you've got the likes of Jamie Shackleton, you've got Alfie McCalmont, you've got Robbie Gotts, you've got Ollie Casey. There's a list of loads of them. You've got Jack Clark, who the club sold to Tottenham for £10 million. He came through the academy as well. But the one who really stands out, who's really progressed, I think, and is at the forefront of it, particularly at the end of the season, was Jamie Shackleton. He scored in the last 2 games, which was fantastic. For me, I worked with Jamie when he was 15 all the way through. And to watch him step up to the first team, along with the other players, is fantastic. And for him to play a part in that promotion is brilliant. I saw a picture on social media the other day, and it had Jamie Shackleton, Robbie Gotts, and Alfie McCalmont, and it was the picture of them now with the trophy, but also underneath it had a picture of them as, I think they must have been 8 or 9 years old at the club, and it was a fantastic picture to see how they've been at the club for such a long time and played a big part in their transition back to the Premier League. So, there's players in the mix at the minute who are contributing to the first team, which is fantastic. And it's my job and the academy coach's job to make sure that we continue that conveyor belt of players, because there's a history at the club of young players progressing into the first team. We have to protect that by continuing that development and continuing producing players who can compete not only at the Championship now but Premier League. So that's our challenge.
Yeah, Shackleton scored a magnificent goal against Charlton Athletic as well, the last goal of the 4 you scored against them. Yes, of course. And the next question which comes in my mind is, of course, what sort of plans you have about bringing the superstar, the legends of Leeds United back when you are back into the Premier League? Do you have any plans of that, like by motivating the young talents you have in your academy, like the way the big clubs in Europe do in regular intervals?
Well, that wouldn't be for me to answer really, but it's I think throughout the academy there's a big emphasis put on the history of the club as well. That's part of the kind of philosophy of, particularly when we're working with young players, that they understand the history of the club, and I think that's important. So within match days, they have at the club they have a legends lounge where ex-players go in, and they speak to supporters and speak to fans, So those players who have performed and the Leeds United legends throughout the years at the club, they're not just forgotten. They're always part and parcel of the club, and that history of the club all the way back to Jack Charlton's, Norman Hunter, John Charles is taught to the younger players within the academy. The 9, 10-year-olds, they're actually informed about the history of the club, which I feel is important because it gives them a sense of identity and they want to be part of something. So, not so sure about the kind of bringing the legends back in so much, like your Rio Ferdinand and things like that. But certainly the history of Leeds United is not forgotten, and that's transmitted to the younger generation, so they know who they are playing for and what a big club Leeds United is.
Absolutely. So many people are asking questions. I'll be taking a few questions from them. Let's see who comes first to ask the question on the screen. Tamagna Batabyal has a question. Obviously, it would be a tough season for Leeds. All the best for next season. As a Man United supporter, want to know, is there any special planning for this season?
Well, I'm sure there's planning going on at the minute as we speak. Certainly for me, for my teams, I'm planning now. I've been sat on my desk all day planning for my return to training tomorrow. So I presume that from the word go when we found out we were going back into the Premier League, I'm sure the manager and his staff are busy planning now. Of what is like the question said, it's going to be a tough season. But certainly one season Leeds United is going to be looking forward to. And like we said about them games against Man United, it'll be one game that they're looking forward to. But yeah, I'm sure the planning would have started straight after the confirmation of our Premier League return, because that's how the manager works, and that's what you have to do in football. There's a lot of planning goes into things.
Absolutely. My second question, to be precise, would be definitely about Pablo Hernandez. What a magnificent addition he has been in the last 3 seasons for Leeds United. Even in this particular season as well, he was a stalwart in Leeds United. And so, in your eyes, what makes him a special player? If I talk about Leeds United.
Oh, he's what can you say about Pablo Hernandez and what he's done for Leeds United is, I think the fans nickname him the magician. I think his creativity. Sometimes you look at it and you go, the things Pablo does is very, very hard to coach because it's it's natural within him as a player. He's so creative. I mean, one of the goals, like we said, he nutmegged one of the players to put in Stuart Dallas. How do you coach that? You can't coach that. It's natural within the player. And I had discussions with a colleague of mine not so long back, and we were talking about the value of Pablo Hernandez if he was 25, 26 years old would be phenomenal. The value of him. I think if I'm right, I think he's 34, 35 years old and he's still producing performances like he is. I mean, he's been fantastic. Such a creative player, and he's led the team and pulled the team out of some sticky situations.
Absolutely right. And then the next question I have from the fans, I'll be taking that. Let's see who comes up with the next question. Opu Chakravarti is a regular viewer of Digital Ideas. So, welcome to the Digital Ideas platform. You're the youth development coach. You have made a lot of kids with your own hands. What do you think is most needed about coaches to bring out the talent in kids? Very, very good question, Apu.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, great question. And what we are at Leeds United and within the academy, we know it's not just me as one coach or the staff who work with the under-18s. The process within the academy started at a young age. So, that starts at recruitment at 7, 8 years old. And all the coaches throughout the academy play their part in developing the player for the first team. So I don't think any one coach would ever stand there and say that, I was responsible for that player. It's been a process throughout the many years where there's many coaches who've interacted with the players to help them get to the level they are. Look at the Jamie Shackleton. He's been at the club since I think he was 8 years old. So he's had many coaches throughout his academy experiences, So I think it's that aligned approach as well. We have a philosophy of how we work with players, and the coaches all aligned to that, and all have the best interests of the players at heart. So yes, I'm privileged to have worked with these players at a certain age, but there's a lot of work gone in to those players when they were really, really young to build the foundations. You talk about building a house. If the house has not got good foundations, it's going to struggle to last, and that's what we try and do as an academy: build good foundations in young players, and then help them grow on their journey to the first team.
Mark, I've been a big fan of Mark Dallas. I'd be asking a question. When you joined from Brentford back in 2015, what exactly played on your mind behind signing him as a very good, midfielder over there? Because ever since he joined Leeds United, he has been a revelation, and he has been performing day in day out every day, and he's one of the stalwarts of the team right now, and will be one of the key figures of the Premier League season as well.
Was that Stuart Dallas? Did you say Stuart Dallas?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yeah. I mean, Stuart came into the club, and he came from Brentford, and I think Stuart's really good as he engages with coaches, he engages with the young boys as well, which is fantastic for us. Now, first team players at that level speak to the players and help them. That's fantastic. But as regards to him as a player, I think season on season, Stuart's just got stronger and stronger as he's gone on, and particularly in the last two seasons for me, where his performances last year in numerous positions were fantastic, and he's been one of the standout players again this year. He's played fullback, he's played midfield. He can slot into any position, and he's played a pivotal part and a vital part for the team. But since he joined from Brentford, I think as a player he's got stronger and stronger every year. And I think that will continue going into the Premier League, and he'll be a player who I believe will have no problem adapting to the Premier League, and again will get stronger and stronger as he goes on.
Did he have any influence of Stephen McPhail of signing him? Because McPhail was also a Leeds United legend, and he was also from Northern Ireland.
Well, I played. I come through at Leeds. I think Stephen was just a little bit younger than me, so he was just a little bit younger. So I played with Macca, and I was actually only speaking to Eddie Gray at the trophy ceremony last week, and I was talking to Eddie Gray, and we were talking about players who kind of came through the youth team with myself, and Macca was one of them. And as regards to natural ability with Macca, it was unbelievable. I mean, when he made his debut, I think it was against Derby, and he come on, and with his first touch, he hit a perfect pass into the path of Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, and he scored. And that was his introduction to the first team, and you think, wow, what an introduction. But yeah, a superb talent, never blessed with real pace, but you could never get the ball off him. You could never get the ball off Macca because he was so intelligent. So yeah, another player who was come through the ranks and been a fantastic player for the club, and had a good career as well.
I met Stephen McPhail a couple of years back when he used to play for Shamrock Rovers, and Stephen McPhail still loves the club, and he still wants to go back someday at Leeds United. I'll be taking the question next up over there on YouTube. I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Shobhi Chakravarti has a question. Congratulations, Leeds, to retain the spot in the Premier League. There are so many wishes like that.
Well, it's fantastic, and speaking to you before I come on the show, you were saying how many Leeds fans there were in your country, and it's phenomenal. There's Leeds fans all over. So many thanks for the congratulations. It's been a long time coming, and it's for the Leeds United supporters, and let's hope that we can go up there and perform and stay in the Premier League, because let's be honest, that's the place to be these days.
Next up on the screen, I'd like to see who comes with their next question. Avik Roy is asking, Mark, whom do you consider as Manchester United's bigger rivals, historian, Leeds United or Liverpool FC?
Well, I'm going to have to answer that as a Leeds United fan myself. I grew up, I've got to answer that as a Leeds United fan. Me personally, I think Man United would would consider Leeds, but there might be some Man United fans who might say Liverpool. Obviously, for obvious reasons that we've been out of the Premier League for such a long time. But from a Leeds United fan's point of view, I think every fan will be looking for when Man United are coming to Ellen Road, and vice versa when Leeds United fans are going to Old Trafford. But yeah, being a Leeds United fan, I would hope Man United would say Leeds, but I've got a suspicion it might be Liverpool, but that could change now that we're back in the Premier League. Hopefully.
Mark, unlike the previous seasons, this time most probably the games would be played on empty stands, like the way it was played a few weeks back as well. So the main strength of Leeds United and Premier League clubs are definitely the fans. They are absolutely brilliant. How difficult will it be to motivate? You were a fantastic player. So, as a player's psychology, what do you think about it?
Well, it's something probably at that level of football that I've never experienced, because but certainly the players have had a little bit of an experience of it now towards the end of the season. Listen, we as footballers, you want to play in front of the biggest crowds possible. That's what you dream of as a young player, walking out at a stadium in front of 50, 60,000 and even more nowadays. So as regards to that, it will be a disappointment. As regards to motivation, I think, all professional players are kind of, single-minded once they're out on the pitch, and kind of shut out the crowd as well. So as regards to motivation, I don't think it will be an issue. But as regards for the game as a whole, and for the fans as well to miss out on it, then that'll be a big disappointment. But we just hope that things progress, and fans can start to get back into stadiums as quickly as possible. We just keep our fingers crossed that is the case. But motivation won't be a problem, but it will be disappointing. It's always nice to play in front of a big atmosphere.
Next up on the screen, I'd like to see the question. Who comes up with the next question? On the screen. Okay, Pratham Basu has a question. Hi, Mark. What is the scouting process of Leeds United? What are the aspects club scouts focus while selecting a young player? Congrats and welcome back to the Premier League. One more thing I want to add. Pratham Basu is also a Manchester United fan.
Well, listen, scouting is an essential part of any football club, and particularly an academy as well, not just the first team. There's so many different elements to a scouting process. You look for things in younger players. They're different to what you're looking for in a first team player. Really, the younger age groups, you're looking for that potential in certain aspects. But the scouting department at Leeds United has grown massively over recent seasons, and there's such an array of staff involved in that process. It's phenomenal, really, that no players are missed. Every player can be seen, and I'm talking about all over the world as well. So it's different. At younger age groups, you're looking at potential. As they get older and older, you're looking at, their ability to fit the Leeds United profile. We have a profile of player at Leeds United, what we know ourselves, what we're looking for. So obviously players need to fit that profile. But the scouting system at Leeds United is very, very big, and there's a lot of very talented scouts within that process as well. And it's a vital part of producing players.
Next question on the screen, I'd like to see who comes up with the next question. After Pratham Basu, we'd like to see who comes up with the next question. There are so many questions, in fact. Okay, Sudeep Sengupta has a question. It's in Bengali. I'm just translating it to you. And then the question is, you were not there in the Premier League for 16 years. How had been the journey? what was the focus, and how much of support you got from the officials and especially from the fans?
Well, I mean, I've been back at the club near on 5 years now. As regards to the tough times outside the Premier League, there's been some very, very tough times, and I work with people at the club now who've been through that process. Through the different owners of the club, and also the different managers. So there's been a lot of turnover of managers over the years, all tasked with the same quest of getting Leeds United back into the Premier League, and every single one of them have not delivered that. Hence why there's been a big turnover. But since the new owner came in, the chairman, Mr. Radrizani, he's had a clear focus of what it needs to get the club back to the Premier League, and the staff above and the chairman and his staff who worked with him went and got the best manager in Marcelo Bielsa. So it's been a long process over the 16 years, but in the last few years, I think there's been a real focus to gearing everything towards getting the club back, and thankfully that we're back in the Premier League now. So that's the mission achieved from that point of view. Now it's about building the club as a Premier League club, and sustaining that as a Premier League club, because like I said, for the fans are the lifeblood of any football club, and Leeds United fans, in my opinion, because I am one as well, deserve to be in the Premier League. So I'm sure the staff above and the owners and whatever will be doing everything they can to ensure Leeds United stay there.
And so many big names are coming into the picture in the transfer market as well. Edinson Cavani, William Carvalho. So it seems like the vibe of Premier League is coming back into Leeds United. It's a big club, it's a giant club, and the feel of a giant club linked with the top players in the world also coming into the picture. So what's your feeling about it?
I've said that to many people before. Like I said, some people might not know, some younger people might not know Leeds United in the Premier League, and there's actually some staff who've not known Leeds United in the Premier League who I work with at the minute. And I always say to them, once Leeds United get back to the Premier League, it's like a giant going back in there for me. Yes, I am biased. I'm a Leeds United fan, of course, but listen, I think everybody in football are aware of how big Leeds United are. Yes, it's going to be a big challenge, but that's why the Leeds United are getting linked with all the top players, because they are a top club in history, and a big club. So for me, it's fantastic, because it just emphasises the fact that we're back in the Premier League. Likewise with younger players, we've stepped up now from the academy into Category 1 academy now. So we are now competing with Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. So we want the best players as well. So we want to keep producing the best players, but obviously attract the best players as well, because big players want to play in the Premier League. Simple as that. So it's nice. It's nice to hear that we are linked with those players.
Mark, what do you know about Indian football? I want to know about your ideas about Indian football.
I'll be totally honest with you, not too much. I do know. I have got friends who are coaches in this country who have contacts and know a lot about it. So we discuss all the time, and the kind of information I get is a massively growing league. And I think you said to me before we came on air how big it's growing as regards to viewing numbers and things like that, and that's astonishing. So, I mean, it'd be really something that I will look out for now, and like we were saying before, hopefully I might be able to bring a team across in the future. That'd be fantastic if we could do that. But no, it's something that is growing. I'm fully aware of that, and getting bigger and bigger, but by the month, by all accounts. So, yeah, brilliant. I mean, it's just another country who's taking off, and the more people we get playing football, the better for me, because I think it's the best sport in the world.
Mark, let me share a small information about Indian football. I don't know how much you know about Indian football, but on a very different note, there is a derby called Kolkata Derby. It's in Kolkata only, and it's being played between East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, and it has a record of hosting 131,000 spectators in a single stadium.
How many? How many? Say again.
131,000 spectators.
Wow, wow, wow. Well, as a footballer, you'd want to play in front of a crowd like that. I'm sure. And have you ever been to a game? Have you been to a game with that many?
Yeah,
Yes, we are.
yes. In fact, I'm a commentator. So
Right.
whenever, yes, so whenever I go over there, and every time when East Bengal plays against Mohun Bagan, it's been fabulous. It's a chock-a-block Salt Lake Stadium, one of the biggest stadiums in the world, and you'd hardly be able to hear your own voice over there. It's been deafening.
Fantastic. Well, with that, I might have to have a look on YouTube myself and try and search it and see if I can see what the atmosphere is like. That'd be fantastic to see. Fantastic.
Surely. And both the teams are now more than 100 years old.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yes.
Right.
So, Ronak, your next question to Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark, in 2017, Italian entrepreneur Mr. Andrea Brisani took over the ownership of the club. He took over the major stakes of the club. So, how has it been? How has it been? How has Leeds United been under his ownership? Has things changed or things evolved, been better? How has it been?
I think since the chairman took over, it's been fantastic. For the club, he's grown the club, he's progressed the club massively. Not just on the field by obviously recruiting the manager and the players and things like that, but I think off the field as well, as regards to the department I work in, the academy. He's very supportive of the academy and sees that as a massive part of the club. So that's fantastic because, like I've said before, the history of Leeds United is young players coming through and playing for Leeds United. So it's great that the chairman's invested into that as well. But since he come into the club, he's grown the club massively into a position where now we're a Premier League club, and I'm sure he's going to continue to grow Leeds United and have ambitions for us to be competing at the top end of the Premier League. That's I think the chairman understands what a big club Leeds United is, and he wants to be part of getting Leeds United back to that status.
Right. Mark, also another question which I have is on April 2018, under your guidance, the Leeds under-18 team won the Professional Development Northern League. So there are two questions actually. That how has been your experience working with the under-18 team and taking them to the winning side? And could you please explain a bit more about the Professional Development League structure in England?
Yeah, it was fantastic that we won the league in that season, and then it's always nice to win trophies for the players because at the age they're at now, under 18s, they need to learn how to win and be a part of winning. Winning's not the be all and end all in youth development. It's about progressing players, and I see success in players playing for the first team. That's what I really see success in. But obviously, winning leagues shows that the players are progressing and doing well. So that was a fantastic part. As regards to player development in the PDP phase, like I said, I'm at the top end of youth development now. There's been a long process for these players, right from 7, 8 years old, and there's been many fantastic coaches been part of their journey. And I'm privileged. I'm in a privileged position to be working with these players towards the back end of their development as young players before they go into the first team. So, as regards to Leeds United and professional development of players, we see it as a long process. It's not just a quick fix. It's a long process throughout many years, incorporating many staff, not just coaches as well, physical staff, psychology staff, physical staff, medical staff, all these staff around the players contribute to getting a player into the first team. So it's really a big process at Leeds United, which has a lot of moving parts, not just one wheel. It has a lot of moving wheels and a lot of moving parts. But ultimately, we are there to all combine to produce a player. We've been successful lately with the players. It's our job now to continue that and ensure that we continue to develop players for the manager to use.
Okay, so many questions are coming on. We'll be taking a few questions on YouTube and Facebook. Let's see who comes up with the next question. Sudeep Sangupta, we have already taken this question, so we'll be going for another question then. It's almost an important task to find out which questions we have already taken. So Tomagna Vatabal has a question. One more thing, as an Indian till my last breath, I want a development. If you get a chance to in future to work with any Indian football team, will you accept this proposal?
Definitely. I mean, we talk about player development to develop the players and things like that. My development as a coach is, I'm on a journey as well. I'm not the end of my development as a coach. So every coach and every manager says they are always learning. I want to progress myself and move into management eventually at some point in my career. That's what I want to do. At this minute in time, I'm working at a fantastic club, my club, who I support and came through. So I'm learning it every day. And listen, who knows what's going to happen for me in the future? Hopefully, one day I will get an opportunity to manage. Where that will be, I don't know, but I would definitely be interested in moving abroad, moving to different countries to develop my experience. I mean, you look at the top coaches in the world; they've coached in different countries. So, who am I to say that doesn't help people? That surely helps people by learning different things, different cultures, different ideas from different people. Maybe experiencing the derby game, like you said there, that'd be fantastic. But no, I would never rule anything out in my career. I'm still at the start of it myself.
Next question on the screen. I'd like to see who comes up with the next question. Amit Datta has a question. Whom do you admire as a coach, and any potential talent who can be next English star actually in the national team?
Well, I managed to. I'm working in the same football club as a coach you have to admire, Marcelo Bielsa, and with that, there's so many managers you can admire it with the way they play and the way they set their team up. At the minute you look at Jurgen Klopp and how he produced a team to win the Premier League. At a moment in time, he's stuck by his principles and built a team to produce a fantastic season. From my point of view, there's nobody I admire more than the manager at our place and what he's achieved in his career, but also right on my doorstep at Leeds United. As regards to potential talent, is that at Leeds United? I hope so. The players who we talked about, I mean, one particular player we'll talk about is actually not a Leeds United player. He's Ben White. We had him on loan from Brighton. I'm hoping he's going to be a Leeds United player because he is a fantastic player. But he's only on loan at the minute. He's one player I really think could make the step up to England level. And I'd be really interested to see how far Calvin Phillips can go, because Calvin's been a fantastic player for the club. Again, a player who's come through the academy, who's really established himself as a first-team player. And I think there was talk last year of Gareth Southgate wanting Calvin in the England team. Let's hope now he's a Premier League player that he will get that opportunity to show what he can do in the Premier League and also at international level.
Last three questions I'd be taking, Mark. First, definitely from the fans. Let's see who comes up with the next question. Shubhajit Biswas has a question: how important proper rest in a footballer's fitness?
It's essential. We talk about that to the young players all the time. I think people not in football or who don't play football kind of think that sometimes footballers may have a lot of time on their hands because they only train maybe once a day sometimes. But rest is vital. I think it's been ever more kind of publicised in the modern game now. Even at Leeds United, a training ground at Thorpe Arch, the players have their own beds and dormitories where in between training sessions they can go and lay down and rest and recover before then going back out onto the training pitch. But rest is vital. We talk about it to the players all the time about going home and preparing correctly for games. So rest is a vital part of your performance as a footballer. So really, really important, vital.
Mark, I have a question. We have heard a lot about Leeds, but how do you see the transformation of Manchester United ahead of going into this particular season? A few names linked up, and the way Manchester United developed in the last couple of years under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it's phenomenal. And as a football fan, not just as a coach of Leeds United, I'm asking you as a football fan, how do you see Manchester United grow in the last couple of years, and how do you see them in the next 5 years?
Yes, that's a good question because it's what a massive club. We only knew that because we played Man United for the under-18s in the FA Youth Cup at Old Trafford. So when you go down there and you play there, you realise what a big club Manchester United is, of course. And they've probably not had the success their fans expect in recent years. But you go back to your question there, and since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come back in, I think someone like that understands what Man United is. He's worked under a successful manager, or one of the most successful managers in the club in Alex Ferguson. So I think he's tried to get that mentality back. I think he's introduced a lot of young players, which is good to see. And I think there has been a definite progression in the last 2 years under the manager at the minute. Hopefully that continues because, like you said, as a football fan, I would like the Premier League to be contested by as many teams as possible. Not just the top 2 teams. I want 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams to be challenging for the top of the league. As football fans, we all want that because we want to see that competition. So if Man United can continue to push them, then that's fantastic. And also with us coming back in as well, if we can build ourselves to eventually get into the top end of the table, then fantastic for all football fans. But yeah, I think there has been a good progression at Manchester United, and it's good to see that there's that academy philosophy, within their club at the minute. Because as a youth coach, I think that's vital for any football club to trust in youth players.
Mark, Leeds United is a kind of a club who played in the semi-finals of Champions League as well, and that too not too long ago. So, how do you see? How have been the progress, and how many years do you need, to be precise, to go back into the Champions League semi-final stage from now on?
Well, who knows? There's so much excitement going on at the minute as regards to the club getting back into the Premier League. Everybody's really, all the fans are really sceptical of how that will be. Will we be up there? Are we happy just staying in the league? There's all the fans have their opinions on it. But like I go back to before, with the chairman we have and the board and the people who own the club, I think they understand that, and they want to progress the club and move the club forward. It's not always going to happen straight away. People understand that, but I think that as long as you've got the correct people in charge who want to progress and want to invest in the club and push it forward, then those strides forward will be made. How quickly that's That's yet to be seen. You only have to look at the season Sheffield United had this year. They were new into the Premier League, and you know they've taken a lot of teams by surprise and pushing to the top end of the table. So why can't Leeds United do that? There's no reason why we can't do that, and we can have a fantastic year next year. The main thing is that we've got the owners and the people above who want to move that forward. So that's great to hear from a fan point of view and from our point of view as people who work for the club in the academy.
Ronak, do you have any other question to ask to wrap it up?
Mark, one of the important aspects for a football club is to focus on their grassroots development projects. And grassroots development is just essential for on-the-field performances and off-the-field as well in terms of selling players and transfer in the season. So India in the recent times has focused a lot on, focusing on grassroots development. They have started a lot of projects. The federation has started, some private projects have also taken off. So according to you, what would you suggest or recommend to the Indian coaches in terms of the coaching techniques or the best practices for developing youth?
Well, there's so many. I mean, you're talking about grassroots football is fundamental to any football, really, because that's where football grassroots where kids start out playing football. You know, that's where they start. Some progress into academies, of course, but grassroots is vital. And at Leeds United, we take a lot of pride in helping the grassroots, whether that be development centres and whether that be our foundation at the football club. They spend a lot of time in schools and working with grassroots football. As regards to coaches in India working with players, I think the best thing for coaches to do is to ensure that they get themselves educated as well. I think that's vital. That I said about myself, about how I'm learning all the time as a coach, and you've got to develop all the time. As coaches working with grassroots players, you have to know how to develop yourself and know what kind of you're talking about. You have to look at different coaching for different age groups. Of course, there's those stipulations. So my advice to them would be try and watch as many other coaches work as possible, and you can do that. Whether that be live or you can do it over YouTube these days, or webinars or things like that, and develop yourself as a coach. And in turn, that will help you develop the players as well. One thing I think when working with young players at a really young age is developing a love for the game. I think that's what coaches have got to develop. You've got to get the players to love the game and enjoy playing the game. That's a vital thing, because if young players don't love the game and enjoy playing, they're never going to stay in the game for a long period of time. So develop that love for the game in young players. Let them enjoy it. Let them enjoy playing. Let them enjoy playing with freedom as well, for me.
Well, last question from the fans to end the show. Would you like to see who comes up? Mr. Shoradip Chatterjee, what is your opinion about VAR in the Premier League? How much is it successful or contradictory?
Oh, what a question that is. I think technology, this is my personal opinion. I think technology in the game is needed, because football is such a multi-million-pound industry now that we should utilise technology. As regards to VAR at the minute, have we got it working to a T, or as a Premier League, or is the system working correctly? I think there's many more signs or areas to improve in that. So I'm all for using technology and utilising technology to ensure the correct decision. But are the processes in using it in VAR working all the time? Not all the time, no. Things like, I just pull it off the top of my head, I thought the second yellow card in the cup final yesterday, wasn't a yellow card. So if we're going to use technology for other things, maybe we could use technology to help with decisions like that, and to help the referee in decisions like that, because ultimately losing a player at that stage of a game is going to contribute towards losing the game. So I agree with technology being needed. I just think that there needs to be more development in how it's used and the systems and the protocols in place. But that's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Mark, one last question I have from my end. That is, 16 years it has been. 16 years after Leeds won the championship and made their place into the Premier League. What did it actually mean for the citizens, the staff at Leeds, and the players to see Leeds United make their place into the Premier League after 16 long years?
Did you see the celebrations on the news? Look at the celebrations from the fans and the player. I mean, it means everything to the Leeds United fans, and likewise, it means everybody. We say in the Leeds United family, and that supporters all around the world, members of staff throughout the club, not just the coaches, the members of staff within the club who all contribute towards, Leeds United being who Leeds United are. It's you can't describe it. It's just immensely proud of what the players have achieved and what the club have achieved, and the fact that people who work for the club can play a little part in that. The fans have played a massive part in that through their support. It means everything to the Leeds United family. I mean, that's all I can describe it as.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mark. 46 games, 28 wins, 6 more than what West Brom managed to win in the EFL Championship, and that is how you entered into the Premier League in style, the way we all know Leeds United play. 77 goals, 40 goal difference. Speaks volume about the authority of the team in qualifying and coming back to the Premier League. Season ahead, hope Leeds United will produce some stellar performers in the coming years and back into the Champions League. All the best and digital ideas. Hope you have a lovely time with us.
It's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. And, I'll be looking out for the ISL League now, and I'll be looking out for that game you mentioned as well. I want to see that atmosphere and see what that's like. It's been a pleasure. Been a pleasure.
We shall send you a YouTube link for the same.
Yes, open invitation to you to come to India and watch that magnificent game happen.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you've got my contact now. Likewise, I've got your contact. So feel free to keep in touch, and likewise, it'd be an honour if we could maybe get a visit over there in seasons to come. That'd be a fantastic opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mark, and I hope the viewers also had a lovely experience. And all the best for the forthcoming season.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Yes. Goodbye.